We're live, baby. Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks, mate.
Looking forward to a little different type of episode this week from Lads to Dads.
Yeah, we've got a serial killer episode.
Serial killer. Well, let's jump in. Tell me all about her. Her.
Hair.
And that's what. Wait, you don't normally think they're the women, do you?
Well, this is what makes it different. Not only is she a she,
Yeah.
but she's also a wrestler. Right. And
Well, like an actual proper like wrestler, as like college in America, or like
wrestler.
like WWE.
She's a Mexican wrestler. Don't know if that's racist. Juana Barraza.
Juana Barraza. Known as the little old lady killer. And if the name doesn't give it away.
Yes. Now, I think it's important to start right at the beginning. I like to play, and I think a lot of people who are quite into serial killers, not that I'm into them like glamorizing what they do or anything else like that.
No, but it's interesting.
But it's interesting.
That's the word.
There's a little thing called Serial Killer Bingo that
yeah.
an amazing podcast called All Killer No Filler do.
Mm.
And that's just ticking a few things off. Most serial killers have these things.
Well, like the same things that they've got, like the same attributes.
Yeah, the same things that happen to them in life, or the same stuff. Usually, like, I don't know, if it's a male killer, they're usually a great next door neighbour. Everybody's like, I would never have suspected them.
No, it never would have been him.
Yeah, like Dennis Nielsen and people like that, just quiet, and before you know it, they're, liquefying you and dumping them in the drains.
So I'm quite safe then, because my neighbours fucking hate me.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely would have been him.
Yeah. Well, let's start off with her early life.
Right. So where was she born? She was born in Mexico.
She was born in Mexico City.
Yeah.
And she had a traumatic childhood.
The traumatic childhood. She, her mother was an alcoholic.
First thing on the on the bingo.
And that's the trend. So that's
alcoholic
tick
parent.
that off.
Alcoholic parent.
She was abused as a kid.
Tick that off.
How I'm nearly saying bingo
Well,
here.
when we say abused, this is where it gets a bit, not weird, but a little bit different. So usually, again, not saying that there's anything good or bad about this.
Say, you sounded like you'd be like, oh, it's not that weird.
No, but there's, a lot of the time they're abused by a parent or abused by somebody else like that, and then that happens. This is a bit different. She was sold by her mother. First of all, that's traumatic. But she was sold.
Like that sentence there, imagine that. Knowing that your mum sold you.
Yeah, I know.
How much money did she make, Matt?
Her mother made 3 bears. Now, that's not slang.
That's not like 3 bags.
No, she actually sold her for 3 grizzly bears in Mexico.
What the fuck is this? Goldilocks?
Yeah, exactly. It's like Goldilocks and the 3 bears.
But on the other side of it, what's her mum going to do with 3 bears?
This is what I mean. Where do you fit them? Where do you put them in the house? How big was her house? Where you sticking 3 bears?
Food bill would have been through the roof.
Also, bears are dangerous. Like, a child's not that dangerous. A bear on its own is dangerous. Get 3 of them.
What bears were they? Like proper bears then?
I don't know the full details, but yeah, she's got sold for 3 bears.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, the man she got sold to raped her. Which again, sexual abuse when you're younger, it's
another
ticked
tick
off.
off the list. Yeah.
And then we find ourselves with her as an adult.
So, just to recap that, from the early stages, she was molested. Her mum disowned her and actually sold her for livestock. Bears aren't livestock, are they? All right,
No, I think
mammals.
that's cows and that.
Her mum sold her for a couple of mammals. They are mammals, aren't they?
Maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have live
Why did you
bears.
say bears? Trying to make it funny, aren't I?
No.
No. Every time I try and make a joke.
It's nice we go through the anatomy of the.
So her mum sold her for 3 bears.
Yeah.
Mum was an alcoholic, and then she sold her to a bloke who raped her. You're going to have the aren't you?
Yeah, and to be fair, I know it sounds like we're making light of this situation, but once you start to hear what she's done, I'm not saying she deserves it or anything, but I think it's taken away a little bit.
Yeah. You can sort of.
Yeah.
But you're going to have, like I said, you're going to be ticked off, and you're going to have all this aggression bottled up inside.
You're not going to be happy.
No. So no wonder she wanted to become a wrestler, to let off that steam. She's been abused and stuff like that. You develop some thick skin.
Yeah.
So what better way to use that thick skin in a male-dominated sport like professional wrestling? And start snapping necks and cashing checks.
Well, this is the thing. Police didn't know she was a wrestler.
No.
Right. So this is her wrestling name, ironically, was the Lady of Silence. But she started murdering these women. She was murdering men and women, but pretty much women a lot of the time, I think.
Yeah.
And so a couple of times they survived, and they described the killer as a very muscular looking, almost manly female. So that's when the police start searching
for like
transgender women and transvestites. So they were focusing all their time and efforts into transvestite
when if they just
women.
literally looked for some hench bitch, they might have saved themselves a couple of well, people might be still alive to this day.
Yeah.
But imagine that though, right? You're the murderer and you think you're getting away with it, and then you find out when you get like picked up by the police that like, oh, it's taken us ages to catch you. We've been looking in all the wrong areas. We were looking for like transvestite and transgender women because, you know, the victims who survived said that you were like a real butch woman and we thought it was a man dressed in drag. You're going to be yet again ticked off about
Not
that.
only has she got all the trauma of her childhood, now constant piss take from the police.
Do you know what? If I was a policeman in that, I'd be ribbing her about that.
Yeah.
I would be sticking the dagger in.
Every now and again as she comes into the custody suite.
All right, mate.
Guns Garcia's here.
Guns Garcia. I love how you put a little bit of Mexican twang in that.
Yeah, like, do you reckon as she was in the custody suite, like every now and again,
yeah,
every now and again, they were sort of like,
ooh, chavo.
they were just sort of like, put your signature on there, please, mate. You know, just dropping it in.
What's your head there, sir? Sorry, madam.
Cheers, fella. Like, as they were doing stuff, just really sort of like taking the piss. Oh, watch out! Here she is. Like,
here he is. Sorry, here she is. Mate, me and you would have been boss detectives on that case.
Yeah. Because the police are quite like that anyway, aren't they? And especially like American police, I think they're quite. If the films are anything to believed,
pow!
It's all real like proper laddie culture in it, but not like laddie as in like they're a bunch of lads. More like they're just it's like egos left, right, and centre in it.
Constant ego.
Yeah, it's saying that. There's been a lot of stuff going on with the police in the UK, isn't there? About all these photos they've been sharing and doing all this sort of stuff.
Oh, what about like there was those two lads that got like suspended or like they got sentenced to jail, I think, for taking a picture of like a
woman dead and all these
sent it to their like WhatsApp group
and like making jokes and stuff. Like you get some assholes, don't you? In there,
mad,
yeah.
Like, but it's bad enough seeing that and then having to joke about it, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But then you say that you ambulance people and people who work in morgues and people who work in those type of jobs.
Yeah.
They have, honestly, if you know any of them, I know a few people who are working as an ambulance people and stuff over the years and paramedics, and they have.
You're an ambulance person.
You're an ambulance person. They've got like the darkest sense of humour in the world because they have to. Like if you're going and like seeing people hit by trains and things like that,
it's like firemen's, isn't it?
Yeah,
because one of my mates are firemen's, and they've got some dark humour. It's like the military as well, isn't it?
It gets you through, I think, because it's like what we was talking about in the last episode, where we were saying about like how comedy works and it's all stemmed from tragedy and everything else. That comedy is a tool there to help you navigate difficult situations.
Yeah, 100% agree.
And if you're there, I know it sounds horrible and trigger warning, but if you're there picking up pieces of somebody who's been hit by a train, I'm sure they're there going, found a bit, and like making a lucky
sword fight with the arms.
Exactly.
That's what one of my mates as a fireman said that. One of his first jobs in London was someone jumped in front of the tube and he was like putting this mate's eyeballs in like a big black bag and like picking up teeth and stuff like that.
If you go into that with the most somber mood and don't make any I know it's disrespectful, it's incredibly disrespectful, but if you don't do that in a certain way, in some sort of way, I think it's going to affect you so deeply.
Oh yeah, come back to bite you in the ass.
You have to find some light in it somewhere. In that dark situation, you have to find some sort of light in it.
It's mad to think, like, you're probably like me and like you think you'd be all right, be able to deal with anything like that, but I reckon it's a different ball game, isn't it? When you see it and when you're there.
Yeah, of course it is.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I often think like about my mum, like she's worked in A&E ward for like most of her life, and some of the things I know she's seen and she has seen, because A&E is where all the most worst gruesome bits come in, and I know she's told me stories about smackheads spraying blood around so coppers won't go near them, saying that like she's people getting nutted when they bring them back to life because they've ruined their high and all these other things. And it's like, there's...
That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, there's so little, like, thankfulness from people a lot of the time. And but
let's not do a classic lads to dads and waffle on and go the wrong way round the roundabout.
So when she was found,
what, her?
Yeah, when she was caught and everything, she was found with a list of elderly women with the who were associated with the government assistance scheme. So I guess it's where they get money from the government.
Yeah.
So she knew they'd have money lying around from whatever it is. It's a bit like a pension, I think, but like same thing. She was found with a list of people with that, old ladies over the age of 70 who've got...
over 60.
Over 60, sorry. So easier targets. But not only that, she was found with a blood pressure monitor and a stethoscope. And her method of killing was to work her way into those houses, so they suspect, by saying that she was like a community nurse or something like that to come and assist the elderly women who were living on their own. Because if they were getting assistance as well, more likely they lived on their own, more likely they've got money. She'd go in and she'd say, "Hi, I'm a nurse." She'd have the stethoscope and everything else like that. Once she's in, strangle them with the stethoscope.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, or the blood pressure monitor. And that was her way of doing it, and then robbing them for the money.
And that's a good way to know, though. Like, you know, if you kill someone, or like, you know, heat of the moment trying to kill someone, if you've got a stethoscope, you can just pop the earbuds in, and then you can just check her out.
Just to make sure she's gone.
Done. Job done.
Fuck me.
Job done. I'm off. But you know what I mean? That's probably what she's thinking, Matt.
Yeah,
well, you've got to think outside the box with this.
Do you know what? Like, do people think like that, or are they as logical as you? Because that's really good.
I'm clever.
That's good thinking, actually.
But you've not. That's just the light bulb.
I thought that.
No, of course not. You'd have just got this fucking stethoscope going around your neck, and you'd be like, "Why have I brought this?"
I've only done half the job. I've gone in and I thought, "God, this is so clever," because they're gonna think I'm a nurse or something like that.
And I've took it.
And you have finished that. You know what? You're a typical tradesman. You leave it as you found it. You're sweeping up after yourself. You've gone in there.
You won't even know I've been here.
I'm not even finished yet because I've not checked if she's fully dead. And look what I've got here. It's yeah.
That's why I never get repeat work.
Because they're not allowed to tell to ask for it.
But no, all of her victims were over 60. Right?
Yeah.
She strangled with the stethoscope. But the funny thing is, what we found out was, I say the funny thing, it's not really funny about it, but the reasons for targeting these women who are in their 60s, because they reminded her of her mother.
Yeah.
Because of the abuse. So she said that it was like when they got, you know, down to why'd you do this and all that, she decided to like come clean. One of her excuses was that the traumatic childhood she had, these women, where it was like imprinted in her brain that these women were like her mother, and she wanted them out off the face of the earth.
Revenge, basically. Yeah.
It was revenge from the abuse that her mother gave her.
You often find that with serial killers, that traumatic experience in their childhood shapes them for the rest of their life. I mean, there's like Dennis Nielsen. He said, and a lot of the police maybe think he was smart enough to just make this up, but he said he remembers the first time he saw a dead body when he was a really young kid. And I think he said it was his granddad took him, or it was his granddad there. And he was made to sit with the dead body and touch it and do all these other stuff. And that sort of gave him a desensitization from dead bodies and death. But also it was I think the person who it was really abusive towards him. I think the story is that it was his granddad. His granddad was touching him and molesting him. And then he was made to sit with a dead body, and then from there he sort of felt this power over the dead body because it was no longer able to do anything to him. He wasn't able to do it, and then that's where he started meeting men in London, rent boys and everybody else, and killing them. But he would like sit them in the house with him. Once they were dead, he would just sit them in the room and just carry on his stuff as if they were there, and he had all this power over it.
He was in control, yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually he started, putting them down the drains and things. But it's
each to their own.
Each to their own. Everyone's got their own tactic. But
I think the best thing about this I can't even, how to say her name again?
Juana Barraza.
Juana Barraza. The best thing about it
is
that she was actually a female wrestler.
Yeah.
So like she'd take in the evenings. Obviously, wrestling shows are in the evenings. I'm assuming she'd get the shit kicked out of her, or she'd be kicking the shit out of people. And like after you've done that, you've had a busy day at the office, knocking fuck out of each other. You go home, put your feet up, but then that's when she came to life. Stethoscope out the bag. She's off to do a second job.
Yeah.
And she's there taking the lives of, I think it worked out she killed over 40 60-plus-year-old women.
Well, yeah, and she was caught. This is how she was caught. She got she was coming out of a flat, and as she was coming out, somebody else was coming in, and they found the landlady dead on the floor.
Yeah.
And then they thought, well, it's got to be her. And there was the stethoscope and everything else around her neck. But she'd just been on the TV a week before talking about her love for wrestling, her love for all this. So I'm pretty sure she was recognised from the TV to then. And then the police were like, of course, she's not a transvestite or a transgender person.
She's hench.
She's a wrestler.
Yeah.
And they put two and two together. They go and find her. But when they found her, not only did they find stethoscope and everything else, she actually said, with all due respect to the authorities, there are several of us involved in extortion and killing people, so why don't the police go after the others too? So it wasn't just her.
So she's snitching?
Well, she's snitching, but also, that's not to say that it's just... We're looking at 40 murders that she can be attributed to. What's not to say that there's still loads of other of them.
So you're telling me right now
there's
like a syndicate of these hench bitches in Mexico just taking the lives of 6 like pensioners.
The Bushwhackers. I don't know many more tag teams from wrestling. I just remember from when I was a kid. What other conglomerates are they of wrestlers?
I don't know, but I tell you what.
Yeah.
Imagine that, like it's a thing.
Yeah, like
because like this day and age, like the government, they pull a wool over our eyes, don't they? We could be a part of their plan.
Deep inside the WWF right now, there's a serial killer ring going on, and we've never known about it.
And they can't stop it. Vince McMahon's over there, just like, fucking stop doing it.
Yeah,
trying to sell tickets.
Yeah, but yeah.
But before, like, you know, moving on. But she's a wrestler, right? We've seen pictures of her, and yeah, do you reckon you could kick fuck out of her?
I've seen her. She doesn't look all that.
Nah.
But
what would your finishing move be?
Suplex.
Do you reckon
anyone
you
I could
could
think
lift her
of?
up?
I don't know. No, I think if it came down to it, I'd probably...
Did you just kiss your teeth?
Yeah, that's my thinking noise. I would probably go with, just to get a bit of revenge for the people she's done, I'd maybe give it an what's that? It's like Stone Cold Stunner with the neck bit.
Yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin Stunner.
Or maybe the
choke slam.
Yeah, choke slam.
You reckon you're strong enough to lift that hench bitch up?
She's not that big. Like, I mean, she's...
Oh, you're not as big as me. I'm a strong guy. Go to the gym now. How is the gym going?
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sent me a nice little photo of you smashing out the weights the other day.
Yeah, and that guy now takes photos of himself in the gym.
I know.
While doing
and you send me photos of your food, your meal plan. You made me watch videos earlier. What the thing you're watching?
I've only ever done it once, and like you know me, Wes, Ben. I'm not one to just get too deeply into all that. It's for me. It's like I want to keep fit. I want to keep healthy and all
it's
that.
More of
lot.
a hobby for you.
Yeah, there's more to life for me. Like I want to keep healthy and I want to be fit and all that lot. But it can get not. You know, I think you're healthy with it and everything else. Like you've got bolder shoulders right now. You're looking good.
Stop it.
But I just want to look a bit fitter and then just carry on with my life. Just crack on. I don't want to be looking and putting my food into Perspex containers and you know.
You're not that guy.
I'm not that person. I just want to have.
And
a
you
bit
know
of fun.
what? That's fine.
Yeah.
You be you.
Yeah.
You keep on trucking.
And keep on going. Keep who I am. And I'm glad that on our serial killer episode we've got onto Tupperware.
And that's it. And that's the way we rock.
Yeah.
We are like, we'll give you all the information, but we will talk about kitchen utensils.
Yeah.
But Matt, what? As obviously we know, she killed 40 plus people. The sentence she got, which I think is a little bit harsh, she got 759-year sentence. And with good behaviour, she'll only serve 60.
And personally, now I'm not being chauvinistic about this or anything like that. I don't know if that's the right word to use in this situation. Probably not. But personally, I think if a man had killed 40 people, especially old ladies, he'd be straight on the chair. Now, it might be due to the fact that I hadn't researched this. It might be due to the fact that there's not a death penalty in Mexico. I don't know if there is.
I don't think there is.
Is there not?
I think.
You would imagine there would be, though, wouldn't you, in a place like Mexico?
What are you saying about Mexico?
Well,
shithole.
No, there's just a lot of murders going about, isn't there? And there's a lot of, like, it's quite...
Well, it's different to where you live, isn't it? You know, ducks crossing and all that.
It's quite, yeah, I know. There's a little ducks crossing on it.
You do live in a posh area.
I've moved to somewhere where I enjoy.
You've got a bit of coin. Let's have it right.
I've moved to somewhere where
you can park your Mercedes at night and you can leave the fucking doors open.
I work for it, don't I?
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's why, and that's all from the podcast.
It is.
Everything we get from, the money coming into the podcast, Matt's putting it in his line in his own fucking pockets. I'm still driving around in a dirty van.
Right, well, Ben, this has been a different
This has been a serial killer episode from Lads to Dads. I'd like to say thanks, Matt, for bringing this to my attention. I've been Ben.
And I've been Matt Mercury.
Bye, guys.